3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
You guys are perfect.
Oh,
You're perfect. Fairwinds is perfect.
is that on recording? That's recording. Yes.
Yes.
We've got it on tape.
ABR, my friend. ABR.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Most importantly, do you have coffee?
I do not.
Dang,
Oh,
you're slacking.
What are you doing?
2 weeks in a row, man. 2 weeks in a row.
It's
That's
been a
because
day.
you
Coffee
figured
right there.
doing that challenge.
Is there any there's some pods there?
Yeah, but they're all the way over there.
Wow.
So much
Dang.
work.
Can't reach. So I'm not. Never mind. Yeah, I might get some.
Let's go, max effort.
Well played. Well played.
Awesome. Cool. I said let's start rolling. Let's get this thing going.
All right.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. No.
You got to work on your yeah, we're in it. This is it. This is our
This is
that's our
it.
yeah,
We're
we're
going.
soft, kind of like a soft launch, soft intro. We're in. So,
Okay.
Eric,
Off from some hard bodies.
are you gonna work on your Brady Bunch singing? Have you started drafting it? Have you started putting it together? They're the first to hear about it outside of the circle.
Oh yeah, she wrote the lyrics. I haven't actually tried singing the lyrics yet. I've just been.
Allie
like,
wrote the lyrics.
oh, she sent it to? Did she send it to both? I'm pretty sure she sent it to both of us.
Nah.
Yeah, she sent it to me in like a note. Maybe that's what it was. Hang on.
Oh, I did get that note. I didn't open
Here's
it.
a story of a guy named Jack who was growing a CrossFit business on his own. He had mindset coach.
Don't ruin it. I'll read it. I got it. We'll
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. I'll send it to you. It's really
I have the note. She sent it. I just got to that's right. I forgot that she did send the note.
okay. Yeah, it's
Anyway,
really good.
sorry.
Can't wait to hear it. Oh, I am
More
looking forward to
importantly,
this.
those voices you hear and those faces you see, folks, are Rye and Ky from Fairwinds CrossFit, who Eric graciously, or I guess, I don't know, what would the right acronym be here?
Excitedly,
Invited to join us.
feverishly.
And I'll let you, I liked your, you kind of explained it to them before we started, but I'll let you explain it to the listening audience of where this came from and what we're doing.
So I hit up Jack the other day and I said, hey, we should start having, just start kind of pumping out some guests. I said I wanted to reach out and Rye and Ky first because we've been trying to get you on forever and it's just schedules are all over the place. But now everyone kind of has nowhere to be to an extent. And so we thought this would be a fun opportunity to kind of get some guests on and do a kind of, don't know when how long the series is going to be exactly, but keeping up with the creek during Episode 1 with Rye and Ky.
Yes. First.
And so, so you guys no offense to anyone else, Rye and Ky were the first people that I thought of because I've been.
You just broke 62 hearts.
Yeah. Less than that, because some people have already been on. Some people have been on twice.
You still broke their heart.
That's okay.
Andrew Duncan is right now curled up in the fetal position crying with his thumb.
Oh, Duncan.
But he was
Shout
doing
out
that
to
before.
Duncan.
He was doing that before he heard this.
I was the chick. I thought I was the chick to your duck.
Yeah, he was always Duck because Duncan.
Oh, duh. All right.
I'm
Cool.
Quack.
Quack.
So, but anyway, that was the thought. It's kind of, we're going to do a keeping up with the creek. So if you hear from us, awesome. If you don't hear from us and be like, I want to be on, feel free to blow us up and we will.
Yeah.
If we have the time.
No, don't really blow us up. That's bad. Blow up our text or blow up our email.
Yeah. Or leave it in a review. Just go to review. If you want, the higher the stars, the more likely you're going to get on. I think that's what you need to do.
Oh my goodness.
So if you want to be on the show, you got to go leave a 5-star review and say, I want to be on. That's it. That's all I want. Real simple. Ryan and Ky, you can do the same just to kind of get the ball flowing.
We will do that.
Like you proved, yeah. It's that whole thing. You got to put it out there in the universe. If you want things to happen, you got to put it out there. So put out there on the universe, 5 stars. I want to be on Keep It Up with the Creek. And who knows? Maybe we'll get like an Elon Musk may pop in too because he's like, hey, this is awesome. Or like,
I live on it. Yeah, maybe he lives on a creek. He wants
may
to just,
totally live
he
on
wants
a
to
creek.
keep us updated on what he's doing.
There's
Yeah,
always
exactly.
a chance.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
go to space, quarantine in space.
That's where it's happening. So,
Yeah.
so here we are. So I say we should kick off. I think Rye and Ky, you can introduce yourselves a little bit more, other than hi, I'm Rye, I'm Ky. I think we should pick like, hi, I'm Rye, I'm Ky.
And what's funny is you guys are actually opposite to the way you have your name written. For me, as far like where you are on the screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, but maybe because it's always so weird, like it flips depending on like. Anyway, whatever. But I just think that's funny.
What you're using.
Yeah.
But I always say Rye and Ky. I never say Ky and Rye for no reason other than that's just how it rolls out.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
But everyone mixes up our name. They call me Rye and call her Ky.
Yeah.
Really?
I do that. I've done that sometimes before, just because it's so similar. They sound exactly the same. But there's plenty of times where I've called you Rye and I've called you Ky. Like, but in the middle of a workout, I'm like, knees out, Rye, Ky.
Shelly does it too.
Yeah, I always do Kenny and
So
KJ
funny.
too, which is they don't look anything alike. I always do it with Shelley and Mary, but that's because Mary Shelley, because of the author. I figured that one out. I think if anybody else I mix up.
I did it with Brian, and Bryant yesterday.
Oh, that's
tough.
That's a
That whole
tongue
thing.
twister.
So I was like, chest up, Brian. Lounsbury. So anyway, but yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll talk about WrestleMania.
Okay.
You go first.
All right. So we are from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which is about 40 miles north of Pittsburgh. Woo! Go Steelers.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Oh!
You can like the Steelers. They're AFC.
Okay.
I'm an NFC. I'm Eagles. So
Ooh, Eagles.
for the East Coast, the other side.
I'm not mad at I like the Eagles.
Right, I like the Steelers, right? Because there's the
Yes.
NFC, AFC. It's two different. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I
all
like
right. So
either.
Newcastle.
Oh yeah. And we met probably when we were about 9, 10, 11-ish, that area.
Really? I had no idea.
We've been friends that long.
Yeah.
Well, we were
Crap.
that long. Yeah.
Grew up together, went to school together.
Whoa.
Yep. The whole thing, high school, all that, and just as friends. And then we went to college and came back and things were different.
So little fun facts. Ryan's senior year of high school. So she was vice president of student council.
Oh my goodness.
And then she was crowned homecoming queen.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, so
My
that-
senior year, which was the next year, she crowned me.
Oh,
And I was also student council vice president.
Ah.
Basically, she has tried to be like me.
Since the beginning.
Since
Look
the
at that.
Yes.
Following in her footsteps.
Yeah. That's so funny. That's so cool. Where'd you go to
Yeah,
school?
we have pictures of her crowning me. It's great.
Where'd you guys go to college?
I went to Seton Hill University, which is like a private Catholic school. It's also in Western Pennsylvania as well. And go ahead.
And then I went to West Virginia University freshman, sophomore year. And then I had little Rye, so then I transferred back home and went to YSU, which is in Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
I don't think I knew that about West Virginia.
Oh my God,
Mountaineer.
best time of my life.
Man,
Is that Chad's Virginia Tech.
that was Virginia.
Yeah, he's Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Somebody else is West Virginia. I like West Virginia's the WVU. Like I like their emblem. I love that.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
cool looking- I've heard of Seton Hill before. I think I had a friend or somebody from high school that went there because we were like, "You're going to Seton Hall?" No, Seton
No,
Hill.
Yeah.
the hill.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
Seton, forget it. You guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Did you play
definitely
basketball?
Not WVU.
Did you play
I did play
basketball at school?
basketball. Played basketball. That's why I went there.
Okay.
On a scholarship, and had a great time. We were
Yeah.
pretty good my last 2 years. First 2 years struggle, bus. Last 2 years we were pretty good.
Okay.
What position were you?
Take a guess.
A 3?
No,
I figured that-
high five.
I can't, but that's like, well, that's what I'm thinking, like 5'5", you're not short. Well, I guess in college. So were you 1 or 2?
1.
Yeah? That makes sense. You're a leader.
Okay, so translate that for us basketball
Okay.
inclined, have no idea what you're talking about.
Gotcha. So
Right there with you, Jack.
a 1 is a point guard. The point guard is basically an extension of the coach on the floor.
Quarterback.
You're the floor general. So
Yep.
run the show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's fitting of Rye. So you got some handles though.
Maybe.
That's where you need to get
That's,
this.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Is that Jen Coleman's a 1? She's
Yes, she is a 1.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense why you like her so much.
Oh, yeah. Love that position.
Yeah. I'm talking about, I had her in class as a plebe, second
Mhm.
semester, her plebe year, Eric, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, she's very, very talented.
So cool. So then you graduate school, both come back to Newcastle or find yourselves somewhere else, like somewhere in Pittsburgh. Do you meet in CrossFit? Like what's the, reconnect over something specific?
Okay.
Well, I was already back
Yeah, you got
home
it.
sophomore year. So I just went to a school closer to home. It was a half-hour commute. So I was already home.
Thumbs down.
She was still in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so right after I graduated from Seton Hill, my assistant coach that I played for and also recruited me, he got a head coaching job at a school called Point Park University, which is in downtown Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And towards the end of my senior year, he asked me if I wanted to be his assistant. I'm like, sure. And I really didn't think about what all went into it. I just wanted to go into teaching.
Okay.
Like that is really what I wanted to do, is be a social studies teacher and just love that life.
Huh.
But yeah, it was part-time and I was doing like subbing and stuff like that and coaching. So like very long days. And I was there for 2 years. Great. Won some championships. And then I got a call about a job at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, which is a
IUP.
Yes, big time D2 school.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And I went there for a year and met one of my best friends. Her name is Rebecca Tillett, and she was also an assistant there. And she's ultimately led me to Navy. So
You said
she
what?
ultimately led me here to Navy because she
Okay.
ended up being an assistant here after that.
Okay.
But after IUP, then I went home to coach at Slippery Rock because I'm like, when am I ever going to coach close to Newcastle again? So
That's the home of Rolling Rock beer, Eric, in case you were
Is it
wondering.
really? I didn't know.
I don't know if that's true, but it comes
Oh.
somewhere from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Rolling Rocks was the name of my bowling team when I was in the league a while back.
That makes sense.
Rolling Rocks.
Bucket of rocks right there.
did
You
you
were a
drink a
bowler?
lot of Rolling Rocks?
No, I didn't actually. At that point in my life, I don't think I was drinking. I never
Oh.
I never had a sip of alcohol until I was 24. True story. And so
That's
we were in a bowling league out of like 20 teams, and we finished like 18th.
He doesn't need it. That's
Aw.
all natural, folks. That's all.
But
Anything what I did, like the first drink I ever had was like a Smirnoff Ice, intentionally, because one of my friends loved them, and he's like, "They're so delicious and sweet." And
they're so
like,
cute.
first one he offered me was a black raspberry Smirnoff Ice.
Aw.
You're like, this is awesome.
It's,
It's like,
this is the coolest thing ever. What have I been waiting for? So here we are.
Oh my gosh.
so at what point from IUP or from the
Slippery
little town in Pittsburgh or little school in Pittsburgh to IUP to Slippery Rock, like
Mhm.
where do you guys reconnect in there?
She was at Slippery Rock and I was doing a graduate program at Slippery Rock.
For your
But
master's.
we've always had mutual friends, so we would link up on the weekends.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
There we are.
Just,
Like
hang
going
out, go out, enjoy life, those things.
Living the dream.
Drink Rolling Rock.
Thanks, Rye. Thanks for
Just
playing.
Rolling Rock, just the one though. Just the one.
Yeah,
Rolling
just
Rock.
one. Yeah.
You can never have just one.
So my journey is different than hers. So I started at West Virginia University. for spring semester of my sophomore year, I transferred back home, went to YSU, had little Ryan. And then I was supposed to graduate in May, but I ended up graduating in December.
Nicely done, by the way. Even with all that, like still.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Graduated in December. And then at that point I was like, so my degree's in criminal justice.
I didn't know that.
Wanted to do with it. I started working at
We have a podcast. We learn stuff about people.
I know. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
I worked at the county jail.
But both of her degrees are in criminal justice.
Yeah, so my master's is also in criminal justice.
What were you doing at the jail?
I was a corrections officer.
Shut the front door, really? Like Orange is the New Black?
Oh my God.
That's awesome. That totally makes sense.
Except I hated working the female block. It was awful.
Yeah, why? I don't know. I mean, that seems like that would be a totally low stress job. No big deal, right? Everyone gets in line.
Because there was only one female block.
Oh,
Their setup was not like the male blocks. Their setup was like a huge dorm with beds in it. Whereas the male blocks, they actually had cells.
so like legitimately, it looked like the Orange is the New Black, where they're in that
Yes.
like, big open space, and it's just like
Yep.
walls or like office walls between.
Yep.
Holy crap!
She lived it.
I did.
That's nuts.
I
How long
did.
did you do that for?
I didn't do it very long. 5 months maybe.
Okay.
And then I got into behavioral health.
Good move.
And like,
Smooth
so
transition.
undergrad, I did 2 internships. I did an internship at adult probation and juvenile probation because I didn't know which route I wanted to take. I didn't know if I wanted to work with children or work with adults.
Okay.
Adults, it's like, it would be so annoying because they should know what they need to do. They should know how to be responsible. However, that's not how it operates. And then children, there's just so many people that you have to communicate with for this one person. But ultimately, I ended up with children and I love it.
Awesome.
You know, you say that like, so I would have obviously based on my, visceral response of like, what? But now when I think of the way you were telling stories about some of the kids and stuff and like and just how calm you maintain, even if there's like a freaking trash can fire inside, like the outside is just like, it's all good. No big deal. That totally makes sense now, right? Like that, like, yeah, he's 7 and throwing a tantrum and, beating things and stuff. But I've dealt with grown ass adults who are, convicted felons. So
Yep.
what's a 7-year-old?
Calm,
Yeah.
cool, collected Ky.
Yeah.
However, it was the easiest job. It is being a corrections officer is literally like glorified babysitting.
Okay.
It is.
But you never like, you don't feel, oh God, I would feel just like
No.
constantly like, who's going to shiv me today?
Yeah, no. Like I would like,
Thank you, TV and movies.
Yeah, I know, right? Because that's all I
And
know
then-
about prison is from movies and TV. Shawshank,
Yeah, no,
Shawshank
it's-
Redemption.
it's very relaxed. It's more boring than anything because you're just
Okay.
like walking around the blocks and conversing with the inmates.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. So, what you guys
Cool
got
job.
working on the side? You need to pack cigarettes? What can I smuggle in for you? Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. That's
Was it like that at all? Like, is it like what you see? Like, is there that much like, I don't know, or is it just like people are just counting down to the days so they can get out of there or get themselves back in there? Like, is it pretty?
Well, see, county is different from like state.
Oh, federal. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah,
County is,
the smaller.
yeah. And then like you get your inmates from state who are about to be released.
all right. So-
Program, so they'll come to county.
So they're a little more low key already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then got out of that and got into behavioral health, and I've been working in the school setting for the last 7 years.
So you were working in the jail, working at the jail when you guys got together, kind of, or was it had you already transitioned into the behavioral health side, and then it was like,
yeah, the
let's
behavioral health side. Yep.
head to Annapolis? And when did CrossFit come
She
in?
was here 2 years before I even came.
Oh,
We
all
had
right.
a long distance relationship. Like when we first started seeing one another right before she got the job here. So
Okay.
like it all blew up. It's like, oh, we find that we really love each other. And now you're moving.
Yeah.
The way it always goes, right?
Off to Naptown.
So like
Real
she
convenient, right?
on a Monday and I drove down here on a Friday. It's been
Was
great.
that was it like Ky was like, I love you, and Ryan was like, oh, I love you too. Oh, by the way, I got this job where I'm like
Yeah.
several hours away. No big deal. So see ya. It's like perfect now.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
obviously,
In a nutshell,
obviously
It's
it's
very
not.
quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
It was quick. And I commuted here for 2 years. Like I would try to get here like almost every weekend.
Oh, I see what you mean by commuting. Not
Yeah, like when they would have home games, I would try to get here.
Okay.
And my schedule was flexible because my job back home, so I worked in the school setting, but not like here. Like I would have one kid in school
Mhm.
and then I would do home and community. So I went to home and communities and worked with children and their families.
Okay.
A lot of skill transfer stuff. So I was more flexible. Like I can get my hours in with those kids at the beginning of the week if I knew I wanted to head to Annapolis that weekend.
Nice.
Cool.
And after after we got engaged, it was like, it's time.
Yeah.
Move here. And then CrossFit.
So Ryan, you were doing it at, what's the name of the box in Pittsburgh?
Black Bull CrossFit.
Black Bull. That's it. I love that. I
Mhm.
love their emblem.
Yeah.
Said goodbye, came here, found us. Or did you start
Yes.
somewhere else? Or did you just go right with us?
I feel like I looked into TrueCore.
Did you go there one time?
I think I did go there once. But I'm like, I need something different.
Yeah.
Nothing against TrueCore. They were very kind and all of that, but
The
I
box.
just knew like that.
It
I don't
wasn't
know.
her.
It wasn't for me. And then
She
That's
should-
a good state. I will say that is a healthy. It's a healthy thing for a community, for like a town, a city, and whatever to have. It should be a buyer's market. Otherwise, it's not good for the industry. And
Mhm.
the fact that it's just like podcasts, it's just like restaurants, it's just like anything. Like it should be a micro, is my opinion, and I think this is Glassman's opinion.
I love
should
it.
be a micro industry that, right? Like you should be able to have a choice between 5, 6, 7. I think the fact that there's only sort of 3 major ones in the Annapolis area itself is not that great. Like there could be 3 or 4 more, and that's all right. Like it should be, I don't know, should be the smaller the gradation of styles and types and little community pockets, the better. Because that just means there's more options for people and less obstacles to saying like if TrueCore or 12 Labors or us was the only option, right? The other 2 didn't exist. That's very limiting. And it's actually, it's not just limiting, it's really unfair on that place to be able to serve that variety of people, right? Like that's just from a business standpoint. That's basically saying like Smokehouse needs to also do fish. It also needs to do, Southwest and Tex-Mex, and it also needs to do pizza. You know what I mean? Like if they're the only restaurant, like that's ridiculous. No, they do barbecue.
Yeah.
And they're not only the only barbecue place in joint in the place. Like, and so that's, I think, I'm trying to like get myself and others away from this, like, well, I don't want to talk bad about it. It's like, you don't have to talk about, like, it's just another place. Like they're awesome. Like they take care of their people and they do good CrossFit. You know what I mean? Like otherwise they would have closed years ago. They know what they're doing, and they offer an awesome product for the people who go there and want to go there. And they are that rising tide raises all ships idea. Like we're all kind of raising the thing. And so I'm a huge fan of open another one. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Options.
But anyway, cool. So you found us, but so Kai, were you doing CrossFit up in Pittsburgh, or you didn't start it until you came here?
Yeah. Like I didn't play sports.
Okay.
I flag line.
Oh,
So like anything physical was not a thing.
That's what it looked like, right? Another good.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
Were you the drum major? Did you have the baton, or did you have an actual flag, one of those big?
I had an actual flag. Yep.
That's awesome.
So when you see me with a PVC and I'm like doing some moves,
I want to see that. I want to see a twirl and a catch
oh man,
with a pot of beret.
Yep.
Was there so just amongst the flags, because you did like so that was like with the marching band and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So was there a lot of drama involved
No.
with that group? Really? Because I remember my brother was in the marching band in high school, and I remember amongst the flags, like it was its own little, like, even though it was like with the marching band. What?
Steven or Michael?
Michael
Okay.
was. But I remember like amongst that group, like the flag girls or the flags or whatever, like so much drama. Like it was its own little soap opera every single day. I was like, is it like this everywhere? So
No,
that was
I don't think it was for flagline, but we also had the drill team, which were called the Candy Canes. There may have been drama with them because they're
Why were they called the Candy Canes? It just seems so derogatory.
Because we're the Hurricanes.
Okay.
Oh, I dig it.
Running Red Hurricanes.
yeah.
Oh, and so they looked. I gotcha. So they looked.
Yeah.
They had the candy cane stripes.
Yes.
Yep.
I guess that's better than like barber poles. What? It's not a barber pole. I'm a candy cane.
I'm a candy cane. Yeah.
Much better. Cool.
And then the little ones are called the peppermints, but now we're going on a tangent. They're cute. But yeah, I started doing CrossFit. What would it be? 2014-ish? 14, 15? But the reason I started CrossFit just in general is because I was going through, like, I was in a bad relationship and coming out of that, and I was done with basketball, like playing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta take my mind and do something active. I need to do something positive because it was like a downward spiral. And I found the CrossFit back at home, really got into it heavily. When I tell you I was there like 4 hours out of my day, like I was there.
That's
In the morning, I would go to work, go coach, and then right after I would go back to CrossFit. And I would just be there until it closed. And I got real tight with the owners, the coaches there. They were awesome. Anyways, ended up coming here. So after being here 2 years, I was offered an opportunity to take another coaching job at another university. And it was such a tough decision because there were pros and cons to both. And I hadn't CrossFit in 2 years since I've been here. And I was like praying literally, if I find a CrossFit near where I live, that means I'm staying. I'm not making this up.
Huh.
Because it was a rough
That was a rough, there's a lot of other things that went into that decision, but if I find a CrossFit, that's the nail in the coffin. I've Googled 50 times CrossFits, in Eastport or this area or whatever, never found anything. This day that I said that to myself, Googled and Fairwinds popped up, and I messaged Eric on Facebook, and he thought I was a guy.
Because I think I responded I think I said dude or something like that.
He was like, yeah, bro. And I'm like, oh,
I ain't a bro,
just
bro.
totally throwing him off.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a
What's
testament.
so funny is I can't think of the name. When I hear the name Ryan, I immediately think of you.
Yeah, me too.
So it's so it's a big deal in my life too, meeting you.
Oh, thanks, Eric.
There's so many
I will
things.
say that's a testament, to your patience, Ryan, and something was drawing you to us. but it's also,
Sure.
that's, I think, like, he's on it's the bottom section for me. Like you're down and Rye and Ky, you're over here. But like, that's the thing that like, he can't even get up. Like he's so good with bringing people in and making them feel comfortable. He can't even screw it up. Like he called you a guy and you still stayed.
Call her a guy.
I like look at somebody the wrong way or say something and they're just like, I'm out. I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like he called her a guy.
Like, yeah, bro. And I'm like, oh, he'll see when I meet him. It's okay.
I know, like that's what I can bottle that crap up. That's $1 billion right there. That's $1 billion product. Wait, man.
Oh my gosh.
But it's great. I mean, I'm kind of used to it in a sense because obviously, like, my name is Ryan, so there are many times where I've had to email people and introduce myself, and they probably just, when they see Ryan Micheletti, they have a whole other idea of who Ryan Micheletti is, and then they see me and they're like, oh, Ryan Micheletti is a...
See, I go, oh!
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool. So I got a question. So when you guys came, and Ryan, so you were already doing CrossFit and stuff, but
Yeah.
like Ky, when you started with it, what about it was that thing that kind of like, oh, like, yeah, this is, I dig this, or you know what I mean? Like, because there's always something that hooks ya. Otherwise, people don't stay, right? It's too
I think
hard.
it's the community. Like, she and I talk all the time, and very social person. And so like relationships mean a lot to me. And so like the relationships that I have with people at the gym, I think that's really what keeps me there. Like I cannot fathom having to go join another gym because it's just like tragedy.
Yeah. Well, they'd be like,
yeah,
well,
like if we move, it's like,
can I bring all my friends with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they get to come too, right?
Yeah. And the coaches get to coach it too.
Right.
Everywhere.
You guys have a reciprocal thing, right? Like it's all one big thing, right? Like
yeah, so I think the community aspect of it.
All right.
Guys, my first workout, if it was based on workouts, I probably would not have came back. My first workout, the workout was like a mile run, 25 or 50 sit-ups, a mile run, sit-ups, a mile run, sit-ups.
Why did we do that?
Oh,
Who programmed that?
y'all.
Good job.
However, I came back, and it's been great ever since.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
See,
Sorry.
Jack,
so
so give
cool.
yourself some credit. Even you can screw it up and they keep coming.
Keep coming back.
It's because you've seeded the field, my friend.
And what's so impressive about it is seeing her doing athletic things, and not just doing athletic things. It's like, you're strong. Like,
Yeah, she is.
some
Yeah,
of
you
these
are.
movements very well for not having, the sports team or whatever foundation.
I watch people watch you do double unders, Ky, and the jealousy on their face of how pretty your double unders are and how smooth and just like, oh yeah. So that's always the part too, I think, as the coach. Like we all have a version of ourselves in our head and we think we feel and look and move a certain way. And we get to watch and see like what you actually look like, and then actually watch. Like Monique is an example too of someone who I think in her head she thinks she moves and looks a certain way, and watching people watch her move.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was some way to like offer that perspective to somebody and be like, you are a boatload better than you think you are.
Monique is ripped.
Right? Like, and she moved, like her squat and the way she moves and some of those quick lifts, like how just like that speed back under the bar, all that athleticism from jazzercise and like just being an athlete. Like, yeah. So Ky, like there's definitely I think you beat that athlete down with that flag for too long, but it's coming out. It's creeping out.
Well, I think a big help with that, like if you think about the two flags, like the body awareness and spatial awareness, you have to have like
Hell yeah, coordination
transfers so well into like being able to move. I think that's why I love when we get like dancers or like gymnasts, of course, and like some of these things that aren't sports but like require a lot of body awareness and coordination, and pick stuff up so much faster than, you know, maybe someone who's just played soccer their entire life. You know, there's so much, and not to say that soccer is not athletic, but there's just it's one of those things. So like Ky, you move like an athlete, like you pick stuff up so fast. I remember you, like the first time you squatted, and like it's the memory that I think of when I think of Ky. Is it was something about your squat. I think it was like driving your knees out, which would then get you like the full depth of a squat. And you kind of had this like, ooh, kind of look on your face. And I feel like it was a couple weeks later where you were like, check out my squats. Or it was like maybe one day like we were doing squats, and I was like, damn, Ky, like you
squats came a long way.
Yeah, like it was so cool. So yeah, you picked up stuff so fast.
So
I always says my athleticism hasn't been tapped into. Well,
I like that. That's right.
It's crazy because her father is a very well-known athlete where we're from. Like historically, he coached as well, but he is like in a Hall of Fame or something. Like he did some major things as an athlete, and people would always talk about him to us. And just seeing her like kind of do little things, I'm like, oh, that is.
Yeah.
There it is.
There is some genetics here.
Yeah.
How fast this is happening.
Yeah.
So you know, life's a little bit different now. We've we got a global curveball thrown our way.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have had to pivot on things, right? You had the wedding scheduled for May 1st. What's that like? What's it kind of look like now for you? What's working? What's not working? You know, we don't have to dig too deep into like some. If there's like things that are like wounds and stuff, you know, no need for this to be therapy. But hey, you know, we all kind of like, you know, conflict is. I like conflict.
Yes,
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what's going well? What's going kind of like, crap. You know, what's up? How are things now?
I think things are good. Like now we're into our new normalcy. Like we have routine. We get up, watch the news. You know, we have a morning routine now. We work out. That's like an hour and a half to 2 hours of our day.
And you said you guys are following along with the recorded version. That's been sort of
and it feels like we're in class.
Nice. I like that.
Does.
Cool.
It does. We love it.
Cool. I know
in class too. Both, like just both is
right. But I'm glad you said that, because I've realized, so like I kept pinging Mike Battisto and to try and get him to come, just because I missed seeing him, and he came yesterday and did it. He tried to dial in today, and there was just technical. I think he just gave up, which totally respect. It's kind of one of those things too where I'd like to push because I want to see people, but there's also that if it's working for you, like, I think we all have to be willing to, like, this is what I want, but I have to be willing to allow for this and whatever fits in there for people. Hey, just be a space, just be a space of service. So I'm glad to hear that the recorded version, and right, like that we were able to provide options that keep you in that routine and keep you feeling that sense of normalcy.
For sure.
Yeah, it definitely works. And then like when you offer like different cues to people in that class that you recorded, it's like we take those cues too, because we find that we're doing the same thing they were doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
It still works.
That's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
And I think also I've been trying to do like the intermittent fasting. So I start being able to eat at noon. So that's why I wasn't doing the workouts early in the morning like I normally do, because I wanted to be able to eat as soon as, you know, I was done. So like in that window.
Fasted workouts though. Ooh.
Yeah.
Fun with that.
So I
Woo.
find, and everyone's in N=1. You got to find what works for you. But I'm saying I don't eat until about 11:30. My feeding window, daily feeding window is 11 to 7.
Yeah.
And so I do the workout at 9:30 most days in
Mhm.
that fasted state till about 10:30 to about 11 by the time I get cleaned up and finish doing whatever I'm going to do. And so that first meal is like, like it's almost,
Exactly.
it feels like you're just like rewarding yourself, but it works because then I'm busy the whole morning from, wake up at 4:00 till 11, go, 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 go.
Mhm.
Then it's sort of the eat, slow down. The rest of the afternoon is sort of like administrative stuff, family stuff, house stuff, whatever. And then, nice relaxing dinner and start it all over again after going to sleep. So I think it's weird. I like that you said that about the intermittent fasting from a nutrition standpoint. I'm finding it actually easier to sustain that consistency with this structure than I was in the past when it was.
Same.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting benefit or ancillary benefit of this.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is day 6 for me. Day 6 of it.
Yeah.
And I like it. I do definitely have more energy. I will say that.
Yeah, because I'm not that hungry anyway in the mornings.
Mhm.
And so it's about now. Like right now, I'm like, whew, I could eat. I'm getting kind of hungry. But
Yeah.
sort of just about 15, 20 minutes pass through that. And then around 9:30, don't even know it. I don't want to work out full.
Mhm.
So now 9:30 comes, I can't work out, or I can't eat, or I don't want to eat. And so that gets through the workout and I'm not bonking. Like that's what I always sort of watch is like, am I, hitting that 15, 20 minute mark and, but it hasn't happened. So, and I think that's about, you got to know the macro, like you got to know how much you eat. And so that's the tricky part is if you intermittent fast, sometimes you end up not eating enough because it's like, you got to squeeze those 3 meals in there. But anyway, we can nerd out. We can
Yes.
all kinds of nerd out on that, but that's cool. So, all right. So routines,
Yes.
once we have it, things are working. Ky, you were saying job is, they're starting to figure it out or try to get you guys
Up and running. Yep.
You sound so excited.
Yeah, it's basically this, like sitting on the computer, checking in, making sure students are doing what you assign, meeting with them to explain things. It's going to be a very like relaxed job. I mean, not for classroom teachers because, they have to plan and try to get all their students connected. So that's the most frustrating part for them right now. Whereas me, like I'm behavior and like, what does my job from home look like?
Hey,
behavior.
Stop picking your nose. Hey, wash the hands. Hey, hands where
I think I don't know. And I think you guys you'll figure that out, right? Like as you said, like you've put out to your colleagues of like, hey, I'm here, I'm available. What I can say is that so I've noticed watching Nicole, she's been at it. I think they're starting their third or fourth week full up.
Oh, they're on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, they also, it was a private school. She works at a private school. They her director was a little bit leaning forward and aggressive, like, guys got to get ready. This is happening, blah, blah, blah. We are going to, and so this is normally would be their spring break week, but they are going a week longer. And then next week is spring break. And I can see like there's big old cracks happening in just their psyche and her and fatigue but they're making it work. My whole point being, I've noticed Nicole has kind of been a resource for parents for their kids. So Nicole will have them for one class. And then maybe that kid has another class where that teacher isn't as on top of things or is still trying to figure stuff out because Nicole really leaned into it. So the parent is calling or texting or emailing Nicole about the other class, not about her class. And I think I have a feeling for you, that's the service, or that might end up being is that you're more of a resource for the parents who are like, look, language arts is going great, but I can't get little Billy to figure out science because the science teacher won't email me back or math teacher won't email me back, and it's making him angry and blah, 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 blah. And so like you end up becoming sort of the bridge. You know what? Like you're like this sort of like Michael Clayton fixer type, you know, still behavioral, but it's like emotional support for different
Customer service.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, exactly. Which, in a way, is what you do. I would imagine you do during the day of like you're making the kids' experience in school as beneficial as possible. Sometimes that's like sit here, don't touch that, stop picking your nose, as Eric said. But in this, like, you know, the obstacle isn't maybe so much behavioral. The obstacle is like, I just don't know where to go. I don't know what link to hit. I don't know. So yeah, that less babysitting and actually more kind of like problem solving for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Right.
You know, who knows?
Well, typically my day is problem solving.
Yeah, exactly. Just now it's a slightly different problem. But that's you're freaking good at that. I love listening to you tell stories about like
Oh my God.
creatively coming up with things to, and I'm like, man, I would have just told the kid to shut up and sit down.
It's a lot of like getting them to stop, think, and reflect.
Ah, yeah, that's awesome.
Stop, think, and reflect.
Yeah, I should do that more.
It's good for all of us.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
3 breaths, smile, ask a question.
There it is. It's been working.
Yeah.
Nice. I think since I'm not working, I've spent a lot of time reflecting and just getting to know myself more instead of being on the go, 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 go. So this time has been very different than anything that I've ever been used to because I've always had a schedule. I've always had a journey or a destination or a goal to meet. And now, since everything is so slow and everything like that, it's like, okay, Ryan, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
CrossFit, like what do you enjoy? So I'm reading Silence of the Girls. Didn't you guys read that for?
We did read it for a book club. We're actually reading it. Our nerd herd at the Academy is going to read it this summer as one of their texts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And hold on a second.
So I'm reading that now. But that's how it's going for me. Just
I think he's got to go to the bathroom. I think he's going to the bathroom.
embracing myself. Okay.
I'm just kidding. Oh, that was really quick.
Moving.
I
You
have
have a
four-legged visitors. Sorry.
Oh, yay.
Speaking of Ryan reflecting, while she was reflecting, guys, there's actual footage of Ryan doing a bar muscle up.
Where?
On my phone?
On Instagram.
Oh, far back.
You're going to have to send that. You're going to have to send that to Eric.
I remember I'm looking at it right now. Oh, like it's far back on your Insta?
Yes.
Oh, all right. It's out
Yes.
there.
I will find it. Because I remember during the open, you were so close with those bar muscle ups.
Oh,
It's that aggressive hip opening at core to extremity. That's your move. So you gotta get
yes.
back. So hollows and arches. Keep working those hollows and arches.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh. Old Ryan.
That was
That was
I'll
her
get there.
4 hours a day in the gym.
Yeah, right. There may have been some other stuff that wasn't so healthy there.
Yeah.
You don't look quite as happy as you look right now.
Oh my gosh. That was Murph.
Oh,
that was Murph in
That
20.
was
That would-
Murph.
that would make sense. That would yeah.
Yeah. Struggle bus. But those hollow arches that we're doing,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Like those gymnastics seminar guys know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a plank challenge. We're at the finish line. We got 4 days left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 30-day plank challenge. We've been doing it with my best friend in Georgia and my aunt. My aunt who is 52. There it is.
Whoa. That's awesome.
First muscle up ever.
Smash that like button.
I did that muscle up. I had been working on that for 2 weeks, trying to get it. I'm like, oh, I can almost get it. And I was always doing it with my coach. Her name was Terry.
Giving
And
you that.
she was always cueing me and everything. And that was, she never missed class. She was there for every class all day. That is the one class. She had to go somewhere. I think she took like a vacation over the weekend or something. The one class she missed. It was crazy.
That's funny.
Anyways, back to you.
I don't remember.
So did you guys do the support your local box workout yesterday?
Yes.
What'd you
Yes.
think? What'd you think of it?
Spicy. So
I really
yesterday was
liked
my
it.
first workout. It's always between fall and winter, and then winter and spring, where I'm trying to figure out when I need to use my inhaler and when I don't need it anymore. So yesterday was the first workout that I didn't use it.
Yeah.
So my pacing, I feel like if I did it again, I could get more reps, but my pacing was good. And I felt great after. I did find that my left arm snatches felt better than the right arm. And my right arm is my dominant arm.
That is
Like I do the left arm, I'm broken, but my right arm, I had to keep breaking up. I don't know why.
So sometimes I think in that case, because you're right arm dominant, you're not as technically sound because you know you can power through it. Whereas knowing your left arm is weaker, you do dial in those positions a little bit more. Thus, it feels better because you're paying more attention to the way you're moving.
Yeah.
That's my professional opinion.
I like that opinion.
Yeah.
He's a
I
professional.
feel a lot of people say
You are
that,
professional.
especially like when we get to the dumbbells. They're like, "Wow, why does it feel so much better on my less dominant side?" Probably because you're paying more attention to your technique and position, because you know that if you let something slip, you're not going to be able to just muscle through it with your dominant side.
Yeah.
Genius, really.
He's wicked smart, that one.
Yeah.
Our push-ups have been feeling better.
Yeah.
Good.
Like we don't break them up as much as we used to have to.
This will be cool.
Workout
This will be
yesterday.
cool if we're still locked up come Murph. If everyone's Murph, just all of a sudden, like, you know, they crush Murph because of all the body weight stuff. But yeah, I agree. I'm always so pleasantly impressed and surprised by just how simple CrossFit can be and how effective it can be. That one, I mean, none of the moves individually were difficult per se, but you clump all that together, and that time domain was perfect, where it was just long enough that it could really start to hurt, but it's still short enough that you kind of have no excuse but to just keep moving.
Correct.
It's like, yeah, it was just this, just kind of turns into this, you know, nasty little soup of fatigue and, you know, kind of lactic acid build up, and then it just blah. And but again, even then, like, you don't have to stop moving because you go to failure. You have to stop moving because it's a choice of either I'm gonna pass out or throw up, or I keep moving. And so you just kind of move a little bit slower, but you can always kind of keep moving. Yeah, I really liked yesterday. That was fun.
Same.
Yeah.
The smaller sets too, like you don't have to break them up much, so there's not a lot of like having to rest in between. Like push-ups broken up, but everyone's for the most part able to do those snatches and those squats unbroken.
Yeah.
You have to break up.
So yeah, like giving example, like so I went 8 rounds, 8 plus, and so that's about holding about 115 a round. So came out like 112, 115 for the first 4, and then picked it up to about like just over right at 110 a round for the last 4 to get a couple extra seconds to do some extra reps into the 9th round. If I try to go 5 seconds faster across each round, I'm not sure I get 8 rounds, right? Just that it's like these tiny little tweaks. And so the athletes who are getting like 10 rounds, there are some who are like in the 380s, 390s. I bet you some of the elite, if they do it, they'll be in maybe even in the 400s. If they go like just under a minute a round.
That is moving.
Right. But again, we're talking the difference of 10 seconds across, you know, a round compared to what I was moving. That, to having done it, that is like another planet. And so that's what I mean as far as like the beauty and the genius of their programming, to be able to take something that just is so simple. It's the difference of like 5 to 10 seconds. Well, that's no big deal. But across like 4 or 5 rounds of that, huge difference. And it's not how fast the movements go. It's that little bit of rest as you transition. The person who can just like, and you're like, holy crap. And they don't look like they're moving any different. It's just a tiny little bit faster. And that's what I liked about it. So
yeah, I realized at the end, like some of my couple second rests where I rested a little too long, I could have gotten extra. Like at the end, I'm like, dang.
God, yeah, exactly. Yep. And it didn't make you even feel any better. It wasn't like all of a sudden you felt awesome to start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I was short of I get completing 7 rounds, 4 reps short. That's rest.
Totally. Like seriously, that's like take away 1 resting period, which is one of them. And you get that. Yeah. It's so crazy. That was fun. It was good to see too how well everybody did. Like, right? We've been at this we're starting our 4th week and we haven't been in the gym, but guess what? 40 plus people who did that thing yesterday kicked the crap out of it.
Crushing it. Yeah.
We logged on, it was like noon, and Ryan was like, wow, 27 people did this already.
Yeah, so cool.
Don't really see that on a typical day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a good director of social media here at Fairwinds. I don't know.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, he builds good buzz.
Is it the guy with the hair?
I don't know. We both have hair now, right? Like
wow.
a lot of volume going on there.
Yeah, you're
Beard. He's got a beard.
Oh, it's the guy with the beard.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got a lot of feedback coming out of you, Eric. I don't know if you've changed something on your computer.
I just did this.
Oh, I don't know. So
I didn't do anything.
So yeah, as you guys were warned, and as folks who are longtime listeners, we always like to end with a gratitude. So you guys can go first. I can make Eric go first. I can go first. You guys, you got.
You can't make me do anything. I will go first if I want to go first.
That's true.
We can talk about it. Nice. What do you guys want to do? You want to go first?
You go first.
Saw you.
Okay, my first is WrestleMania. So here's what's cool about
going here.
Okay, so there were 16 total matches. They spread it across 2 nights, which they've never done before, which was awesome. Everything was pre-recorded in an empty arena. So at the most, there was like the wrestlers, the announcers, a couple camera guys, a couple like studio guys. That's about it. Definitely more than 10. I'm not sure how long ago. I think they recorded this stuff a couple weeks ago. And so I don't know. I'm not sure what the situation down is. It's down in Orlando is where their performance center is. And so watching that, I had such a great appreciation for them as talent, but like the wrestlers as talent, because one thing that they do during matches is they talk to each other during the matches and talk to each other about here's what's coming next. Here's what we're going to do next. You do this. So you can't do that when there aren't thousands of screaming people in the background.
Oh, because
so they have to be on it. Yeah, because you'll hear it. You could hear every little thing. And so, that like they really had to dial this in. Now, granted, they probably took some liberties and that because it was pre-recorded, they could edit stuff out or maybe like redo a spot or something like that. But like that was a part of it that they couldn't do. And like something that they've been doing for years. Now they have to like remember this thing, talk about it, and I'm sure they cued each other up in like other ways. Like I had such appreciation for that, but then also such a big part of professional wrestling and a wrestler is like when they do something, whether it's a move, whether it's a gesture to the crowd, like you feed off that crowd. So the pop or the noise you get from a crowd, like you kind of build off that, and it kind of helps develop the story as you go because it's so much of it psychological with no crowd interaction. Again, like to try to keep this looking as organic as possible and not like stale and stiff had to be so difficult because these things that you're so used to using as part of your display is no longer there. And so it was so cool seeing that. And I thought they put on a really great show. Again, it was kind of awkward. There were a couple moments too that like, it's unfortunate. Like this one guy he won his first world championship title. And it's so great. Like it's been a long time, but not having like the reaction from a crowd and that all that celebratory stuff that comes with your first title, it's unfortunate because it's lost. Like you're never going to get that first win back again.
Oh.
And so, but I mean, maybe he feels different, but so that was kind of a bummer because you're watching it like, oh, this is cool. And like, that's it. And there's just the announcers talking and whatever. So they did that. And then another thing, and I'll wrap this up real quick. Another thing that they did was they had these two matches. So it was this dude, AJ Styles, and then Undertaker. I'm assuming everyone's heard of The Undertaker.
Love The Undertaker.
Okay. So it was called a boneyard match, is where they wrestled in a graveyard. Okay. And then the way to beat your opponent is bury them in a grave. So throw them in a grave and then throw dirt on top of them. And so what is being referred to as is a cinematic, I think cinematic wrestling. And so it was this entire match that was pre-recorded, but then edited with like background music and like sound effects and like all this other stuff that like at first I'm kind of like, well, this is really weird. And like now it's super phony because like, you know, wrestling's already fake. And now it's really putting on the, you know, kind of going to that, all this edited and these different camera shots and stuff. And as it went through, I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. It's like watching a movie. Like a wrestling match, it's a movie, yeah. And so they ended up doing that both nights. Another one was with John Cena the other night, which was like more. I've never done acid.
Is that John Cena? Is that a big name guy?
Wait, are you being serious?
No.
Okay, I was like, I was gonna say.
If you smell what I'm cooking, Eric.
I smell what you're cooking.
Oh wait, that's a different guy. Sorry.
Rock.
Right. I know.
So anyway, it was just really cool that the way like they have to adapt to these situations too, even though it's again fake. Like they have to do all these things to still try to make it as entertaining as possible. And I thought they knocked it out of the park. So it was really cool. I love WrestleMania, and it was interesting. It was a very interesting display, but it was so much fun.
So I'm gonna leave you guys to go last because I'm gonna be 30 seconds or less. In that same spirit, and mine is not WrestleMania, but mine is Best Buy. I am in the same idea of like watching an industry figure out how to make it work and still bring you, Eric, like their number one type of fan, joy. Not that I'm Best Buy's number one fan, but when I bought something from Best Buy, bought it online, super easy, showed up, the drive-through, like everything about it was awesome. And I saw most of their people were still working. Right, but they figured out different ways to. So Eric, as I'm talking, because we're getting feedback, if you put yourself on mute so that we're not hearing you hear me, the amount of effort that it took for them to think it through may have been high, may have been not, but either way, customer experience, awesome. People still working, awesome. Product delivered, done. Right. So they didn't let this thing keep them from figuring out how to still be of service and how to still take care of their people and how to keep things employed. I thought that was awesome. And as you were telling that story, Eric, like that's what that makes me think of is that they're entertainers providing a service, providing product, and they figured out how to do it. And it was still like, was it pay-per-view? Did you have to pay? Now you remember you're on mute. Sorry. I gave you one extra.
Sorry.
It's on the WWE network, so $9.99 a month, and all the pay-per-views are included. So
gotcha. So you still right? So did you get your money's worth?
Yes.
There you go. Right. So that's awesome.
I was entertained for 6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours.
No, 6 to 8.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a long weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
All right, there you go. So figuring out, making it work. What were you saying, Kai?
I was just gonna say I was gonna piggyback off both of you. So I was always that person when someone asks you what is your hobby that I could never figure it out. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what I like. I never knew my hobby until quarantining. My hobby is cooking. I love cooking. I love trying recipes. So I am very appreciative for the grocery stores to still be up and running. And we shop at Giant and they're just so nice. And I just say, you know, we really appreciate what you're doing. Like there's no look of fear on their face. It's like they're still going on with their daily lives. And I'm just like, this is great. Like, I really appreciate this. So I have been cooking and trying new recipes since we've been home, and it is great.
What's been your favorite? What's been the best new one you found?
I finally mastered pound cake.
Oh, I love pound cake.
It's changed the game.
Oh man, that's dangerous.
And it is. Yes, it is. Recipes.
What's the secret? What did you do? What was the move?
I didn't use regular flour. I used cake flour.
She probably used a dash of Nunya. Nunya business. It's a secret.
I knew something
And
was
cream cheese.
Thank you, Rye.
Oh, all right. So cake flour and cream cheese.
Yeah, it's very simple. Like, I didn't realize how simple the ingredients are. It's typically what you would have in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite recipe there?
I haven't heard someone say cupboard since my grandma.
In the cupboard.
It's old Mother Hubbard.
That has been, I think, the biggest like wow factor is like, oh my gosh, we can have pound cake at any time. We don't have to wait for,
It is dangerous, though.
someone to make it. So that has been great. But for me, with the whole wedding situation, how we had to like basically postpone until we figure out when all of this is going to be clear, because if we have it here, there's people who are going to have to travel, and we know what travel's like right now. But with all of that being said, and we can see it as like, oh, like this sucks. At the same time, I think waking up every day and knowing that you guys and Fairwinds is going to be a part of what makes us happy and what makes us better each day is what I have a lot of gratitude for. So thank you guys for just being amazing. Such a support system.
Thanks, guys.
Being better.
Well, the feeling is mutual. I always say,
Doing handstand push-ups, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I had those programmed the first week, and we ran away from them pretty quickly, but they may come back. It's hard. It's one of those like, how safe do I feel telling somebody to get upside down without any sort of like support or you know what I mean? So like wall walks, maybe we'll start finding the time for those to get back in. But again, and because anyway, whatever. No need to guy. Feelings mutual, right?
Thank you.
I mean, I selfishly I think that's why I bullied Mike Batista into coming in, because I just wanted to see his face, and then I realized what he's working with, and I'm like, yeah, okay, bad call. Sorry. Don't feel obligated just because it makes my day better if it ruins yours.
So we missed most of the town hall meeting. So I'm curious, because I've seen more people logging scores than when you actually have to show up to class. So have you seen an increase in participation since this?
So Sugar Wad's been about the same. And we are, not to get too nerdy, but like if you were to take a 6-month average of class attendance by day, by week, that first week we were about a 33% drop, I think, in just attendance. But on Sugar Wad, it was still within 5 to 10%. Second week it went right back up, and we were within about 10% of normal. This last week, the third week, closer to like about 0.25%. But now it was still above sort of the since quarantine average. So I think it's sort of like settling out. And if you just don't let numbers completely drive your show, but at the same token, like they're quantitative, and we live and breathe in an observe, measure, repeat metric with CrossFit. It's working. There's engagement, and just as you said, that stability, that normalcy, but then also us being flexible enough to allow for different versions of that based on everybody's individual constraints and obstacles and desires. That's it. And I think that holds true no matter what we're doing. If we still have the space open and brick and mortar, right? Like we have to be able to be flexible enough to be a safe space and a welcoming space for everybody. And that's a fun problem to solve and challenge to keep working at.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Agreed.
Thanks.
It is a two-way street, and the feedback that we keep getting is incredible, right? Like it is the hardest thing in the world to scream into the abyss and not get anything back. That is not I constantly am getting feedback from people, and I love it.
Yay.
Yeah. And I mean that, like, not just like, you guys, this is great. I love that. That's very nice. I appreciate the compliments and the gratitude, but I also like hey, you got a booger in your nose, or that's not going to work. Like that. I need that stuff. We need that stuff too. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah. Constructive criticism.
Hell yeah.
Where
'Cause that's
happens.
Yeah, totally.
Eric, you look like you're struggling.
You all right?
A little bit. I'm okay.
I think we're coming up on the hour. The coffee finally set in that he didn't drink.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's her kid management. She just I think Eric has to go pee.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll let him go, and we'll let you guys go. You guys are awesome. This is a great idea, dude. Well done.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick though, do you know how you find Will Smith in the snow?
No.
You follow the Fresh Prince.
Good one.
Oh, that was loaded. That could have been a train wreck, but you rode that one. That was well done, brother. Well done. All right, you guys are awesome. So freaking good to see you. And that was like, I don't know. That was like Christmas in April.
Oh, it was great
Heck
seeing
yeah.
you guys.
All righty, we will
All right.
All right. Have
see
a
you
great
off
Have
the
a
day.
good one.
Bye, guys.